Show, and for this hour, we are pleased to welcome to the microphone in studio with us the Bay County Executive. We say good morning to Jim Barsha.
Art, good morning, and thank you once again for having me on your program. Look forward to our discussion as always.
So here we sit on the 13th of January, 2026. As you look back, what kind of a year was 2025 for Bay County?
You know, it was a good year for us. We're fiscally sound. We have a $5 million fund balance, and with our other, we have about $14 million total in terms of the budget stabilization fund, which can only be tapped in an emergency. However, it is there.
So you have a rainy day fund.
It's a rainy day fund or budget stabilization, as they.
Well, you don't hear too much about those anymore.
No. But we also have, as you know, and we don't want to belabor this because we talk about it every time, but our three projects are well underway. The community center pool is a beautiful design, and there'll be a $9 million community center pool. It's a very modest little millage that the voters approved, and we'll sell bonds to do that because we can't wait until all the millage is collected to
you sell bonds against the millage, right?
Yes.
That acts as the collateral, so to speak.
Yes, it won't have any impact on the general fund of the county. And the millage will cover the bond payments. And so there's a lot of excitement about the rendition that we have. I wasn't able to bring it today, and your viewers wouldn't be able to see it over the air, but it's going to be, I think, a very nice asset for the county, especially for young people that want to learn how to swim, and also our competitive swimmers that like to practice. And
so everybody understands, this is not a repatch. This is a rebuild. This is, you rip it out and put it in new.
Yes, the last pool, Art, was built in 1972.
And it's an outdoor pool, right?
It is, yes, and a good size pool, Olympic size, and had a high diving board. However, over the years, it was deteriorated to the point that it really couldn't be refurbished. We spent about $80,000 trying to patch the concrete that was falling in on the walls of the pool, and then, of course, the infrastructure under the pool, the design for outdoor pools was a bad one back in 1972 that Bay County selected because we were losing about 13,000 gallons of water a week. And not only the water, the cost of the water, but also the sewer. So you add the sewer and the...
Where was it going?
Well, a lot of it was leaking out the bottom of the piping and stuff was underneath the pool, and they don't design them that way anymore. However, I have to say our pool did serve the young people and other adults that like to have an outdoor for 49 years, and the average lifespan of an outdoor pool like that would be 25. So we got as much, and then we had to close it because it wasn't safe.
Right.
And so it will be removed soon, and it should be... I'm excited to share with the public at the upcoming State of the Community address on February 3rd with the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce at the Doubletree, the rendition. It's going to be a very nice recreational outlet. And also I want to compliment Congressman Dan Kildee for securing $800,000, approximately just a little under $800,000 to refurbish the locker rooms, both the men's and women's locker rooms in the community center. So it'll actually be about $10 million of improvements at the community center, which is a very busy place between the basketball and especially the ever-popular pickleball. Keeps those courts busy and people waiting to use it. We also, at the community center, we have a large kitchen there that prepares meals for about 1,300 homebound residents of Bay County each day, 5 days a week.
Meals on Wheels kind of thing.
A little, yes, it's Meals on Wheels and congregate meal sites, which are not delivered to the homes, but we deliver about 250,000 meals to homebound residents annually.
So what's the time frame? When do you expect the pool to reopen?
We have a guarantee of June of 2027. And Spence Brothers, working with Barazi, it's a nationally prominent pool company out of Ann Arbor will be helping with the construction. Spence will be overseeing it and also doing a lot of the work. We have to remove the pools I just mentioned, and so.
Is it a concrete pool again?
Oh yes, it will be, and we'll also have a little splash pad for kids, and that'll be free. And I think the fees will be very minimal. But
what makes
I spend about $2 to use it for a day.
So what makes it different than the old concrete pool, so to speak? Piping being moved and all of that?
Yeah, it'll be a little safer in terms of having a shallow end so that
and it won't leak.
Yes, it won't leak. And yeah, I wouldn't be too critical of the design, but I, it just aged out after 50 years. As I say, normally a community center pool outdoors would last about 25.
Yeah, and too expensive just
and
keep
too
patching.
Expensive to build an indoor pool. We did get an estimate from if we were to have an enclosed pool that would be open all year round, and the cost on that was $77 million.
Oh, yeah, slight difference, huh?
And then, of course, you have the chemicals and the staffing and stuff. But what's nice about this millage, all of that will be calculated in. So the staffing and the chemicals and things for treating the water will all be calculated into the cost that the millage covers.
It's an interesting topic you brought up there about the cost of enclosing versus building that pool outdoors. Construction costs have gone up everywhere. How has that impacted, for example, what you're doing at the old Art Van building for the health department or the animal control shelter? How are those costs impacted?
Well, we got off to a small delay in beginning the process of the design and construction of the animal shelter due to the uncertainty about, particularly with that brand new animal shelter. We'll keep the other for backup and for storage,
right.
But it's going to be a state-of-the-art $9.5 million animal shelter. We're doubling the size of the kennels for the dogs, and also a beautiful cattery that will help feature the cats that are up for adoption. And in addition, we'll have the ability, if someone picks up a stray, a cat and dog, and the animal shelter is closed, say between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. the next day, you'll be able to go in and scan for a microchip, and that will give you the identity of the pet, or this dog or cat, who the owner is, their phone number, and their address.
You'll be able to do that even when it's closed?
Yes.
So there'll be a portal?
We'll have a portal with a scanner on it. When I came in 2016, it was kind of horrendous because they had a drop box, and police officers and other concerned citizens would drop cats and dogs into a big wooden box, and the people who had to open the box the next morning would get visibly sick, and because of the mess, cats and dogs fighting and killing each other inside the box. So that was we were happy to get rid of that, and then we'll also be able to. We have a little suite that where we'll be able to do the. We don't need the. We'll have a veterinarian on call to come in and spay and neuter all of the animals in a, won't be a surgical suite per se like Saginaw Shelter has. It'll be a room that's outfitted for spaying and neutering specifically. And that will save us, actually it won't save us that much money because I want to compliment Bissell Foundation because as you know, Art, we talked about this before, they pay Bay County's costs for vaccination, spaying and neutering, and then we microchip the animals. But all of those costs, as long as we're no-kill, are covered by the Bissell Foundation. So that is done at no expense to the taxpayers.
I got to tell you, all the years of knowing you, Jim, and talking to you, this topic, you light up when you talk about the animal shelter. It's one of your pride and joys, isn't it?
Well, it was in bad shape. We had a 91% euthanasia rate in 2016, and we've come a long way. I have always loved my pet dogs, and we have also pet cats. And they're members of your family, and they deserve to be treated well. And it is sad sometimes to see how certain individuals, abuse animals, and it's just too bad. But we are making progress, I think, on that front with our new prosecutor. former prosecutor would not prosecute any cases that involve animal cruelty or
Really?
mutilation or abuse. No, she said no. That's a neighborhood problem, neighbor problem, and So,
Okay.
for example, if you know,
why bother to have laws if it's a neighborhood problem?
back in I think it was 2018 when we shut the county for 2 days, and we rarely do that, but Governor Whitmer had shut down the state because the wind chills were 30 degrees below zero. The actual temp was about 12 to 15 below zero, so everything was shut down pretty much in Michigan. And we had one individual who had a nice black lab out in his backyard in the city. He went out in front of his neighbor and beat it to death with a baseball bat and covered it up with branches. And so the neighbor videotaped it and called the animal control. We had 2 officers arrive, and he ordered them off their property and said it was none of their business. He owned the dog, and he would dispose of it any way he wished. And yes, he killed it, and he would kill it again. You know, actually, that is against the law. But again, the prosecutor said, look, neighbor on neighbor, not touching that one. We've had also German Shepherds that we've had to take down, a German
So
Shepherd
you have
that
a
way.
new prosecutor has a new outlook.
Yes, yeah, we're hopefully going to have a much closer relationship, and I think he's going to be a major improvement on prosecution.
Prosecutors sworn to uphold the law. The law says you can't abuse animals. Prosecutor has a resposibility.
Well,
I would think.
What the prosecutors will always say, and particularly this one did, it was prosecutorial discretion. And if they think for any reason that they have a weak case and they might lose,
Well, I
they don't
understand
have
that if you have a weak case. You got a video
No,
of a
when
guy.
you got a confession, you
yeah,
got a video.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come back. We're talking to Bay County Executive Jim Barsha.
Daily 3 and 4 players know.
Foundation in the walls will be going up soon, and also I'm very pleased with the health facilities building, which is going to be great. Again, I want to point out because I'm very proud of it. No county dollars involved. We used $9 million of our $20 million ARP grant from the pandemic relief from the federal government. And then, again, thanks to Congressman Dan Kildee, secured a $2 million appropriation. So that gave us $11 million. We bought the building that was in bankruptcy from Art Van at auction for $3.2 million, and now we've got $7.8 million being spent renovating, and we'll have a couple of major tenants in there that will defray the cost of water, sewer, and electric going forward. So it's fiscally, it's a very I think responsible investment on behalf of our residents.
That building is on Center, right?
No, it's on Wilder Road.
Wilder. I meant Wilder Road. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I meant Wilder Road.
Yes.
And will the
It's on
outside
a bus route as well. So
would the outside look much different?
no, it's pretty. We have some windows
Other than
going in,
signings.
and we like the big raised kind of entryway to it, but again, 45,000 square feet in there. It's not.
Right,
You
it's a
could
big
play.
building.
Yes, it's.
Is it all leased out now? You have tenants ready to go into?
We will by April, and we'll have those announcements. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the walls are going up. It looks wonderful, and the guys working really hard, and ladies, getting it constructed.
So what happens to the old health department facility?
That will be taken over by an expansion of a lot of court staff. We've asked some of my department directors if they need a little additional space. Some need it for storage, but most importantly, the Supreme Court recently has added required staff. For example, even juveniles in a juvenile home detention facility necessitate an attorney to represent their interests. So we have the independent counsels, and we keep having this expansion of required, and they do absorb the costs, so we're grateful for that. It was a legislative mandate from Lansing. However, we're really looking forward to
So that building isn't going to sit empty. It's going to be
it'll be very full.
Expansion.
Yes, it'll be very full, and it'll be again kind of a state-of-the-art concept. We'll have a lot of opportunities for people to be directed to healthcare. We used to, as you know, operate a primary healthcare clinic, but all of our grant funding died up. But it is an award-winning primary care program that we had for residents of Bay County who lacked insurance.
I remember that.
And then also,
To a doctor who used to practice.
if they don't qualify for Medicaid, but they can't afford or don't have employer-provided health insurance, we would provide the primary care for those individuals. So, but we also, we have done a lot of work. For example, on the dental front, we can't limit that to Bay County residents because it's all federally funded. It's one of 19 in the state that provides basically a dental visit for about $30 to $40. And they have state-of-the-art technology, several dentists, and very dedicated dental staff. And, the dental community was appreciative. Even you might think they'd consider it as competition, but they said, Jim, people need dental care. It's critical to your overall health. And the fact is that some people might come in, they might have one tooth and they need dentures, and, we just don't have the heart to turn them away, so we'll pay out of our own pocket. $600 for a set of dentures or something for someone that has no ability to pay and are struggling with serious dental issues or lack of, teeth, being able to properly chew their food. And then there's also a social stigma that comes with it. They're embarrassed about smiling in public if they don't have teeth. So they're doing a lot of good work. It's 100% federally funded, and it's very busy. It takes probably 6 weeks to get an appointment, but they will also consider an acute case. If you have an abscessed tooth and you're in pain, they'll take you in a little quicker.
All right. We're talking to Bay County Executive Jim Barsha. More ahead when we return on the Art Lewis Show.
The great.
And we're back with you in studio with me, Jim Barsha, the Bay County Executive. We were talking before the show. You mentioned there is a plan to honor some rock and roll heroes who have visited Bay County from time to time. Tell us about this, because I found it very unusual.
Yeah, well, as you know, we have a couple, Christopher Engelhard and also Gary Johnson, CEO of Michigan Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is based in Bay City.
Chris wrote a book on the Beatles.
He did, yes, and I saw Christopher last night. We both appeared before the Friends of the Bay City State Park organization, 25 or so really dedicated individuals.
I was on that board for a while.
You were, yeah, and I am too, but I'm not on the board, but I'm a member and I support them, but because they do great work. But Christopher, I'm of that era, and you may remember that too, Art. We both are. When the roll-air rink at the Bay City State Park.
I heard about it. It was after my time. I came after its time, but yeah, I remember hearing about it.
Oh my gosh! When I was 14 well before I could drive, we would catch rides out to the roll-air rink for the famous Battle of the Bands. And
one time, somebody told me it used to be a trolley car that ran up, or a train or a trolley that used to run up there.
Many years ago.
Many years
Yeah,
ago.
It was a nice amusement park. Tony's amusement park.
Right.
And the Gavrillas and Chris Gavrilla and the Darbys, Bob and Irene Darby, hosted that, and it was really interesting to see when we think about inflation for rock stars. I saw some Beth Dorr as also aficionado in terms of rock and roll history, especially in Bay County. And when the Gavrillas were departing with a lot of their former records, they had lots and lots boxes of canceled checks to the various bands that played there. Bob Seger System, $250 for a performance. Ted Nugent, and the Amboy Dukes, $300. Another one was Popcorn Blizzard, but that came much later. Right over in Freeland, a guy by the name of but he's recently deceased, Meatloaf.
Oh, yeah.
He had a local band, and lived in Freeland for about 3 years called Popcorn Blizzard. I
was told that at one time he lived in my house.
My gosh, really?
Yeah.
Well, just to mention a few of the groups, Bob Seger, Alice Cooper, the Amboy Dukes, Ted Nugent, and the Mysterians, the MC5, Brownsville Station, Teagarden and Van Winkle, Popcorn Blizzard and Meatloaf, Pleasure Seekers, Susie Quattro, and a number of others, Frigid Pink, SRC, the Rationals, the Bossmen. They were all, kind of very
Bossmen,
popular,
yeah.
very popular rock and roll bands, and that even many went on to national acclaim.
Absolutely.
And so they all were out there. We remember a lot of those concerts, but people of my era remember, what a draw that was. And it was common to get 200, 300, 400, younger people come out to attend those concerts.
How do you want to remember them? What are you
Well,
trying
there's
to
a
do?
rail trail that goes right through a section that is a piece of property that the state park owns, and so we want to support the state park manager, and a great guy he is, but also the Friends of the State Park, and they were very supportive last night. And then I'll be in touch with Scott Bowen, who is a longtime friend of mine, who is the current director of the Department of Natural Resources. And we don't know how much it will cost, but we'd like a very durable, probably metal. You've probably seen some of those historic plaques that honor just the site of all the performers that did perform there.
It's gonna be a
and
big
it's still a great area. I mean, in the summer between Muscle Beach, a popular restaurant, the Bay City State Park, which is used quite readily by residents and non-residents.
It's fairly
alike.
clean, thanks to Ernie Krieger.
yes, cleaning up that beach was a long time effort, and we worked with Ernie with SOS when I was in Congress on beach grooming and a lot of issues that we had to address to try to allow the state to improve that park. And without the Ernie and Kim Kuhn and a number of other people that raised money each and every year to buy like the beach groomer, I think that was like $150,000 or something. But instead of grooming it once a week, they groom it daily, and it really improved the beach. And of course, the campground across the street is usually by February sold out for the whole season. And so another thing that we're involved with at the county level is the old Bay City State Park driving range, which is right across from
That's
Muscle
across
Beach,
the street,
and across from Rollair Rink. That was during the previous administration, a NOAA grant purchased that. But they did have
But the county owns the land now?
Yes, the county took possession of it when Rodney Pafford, wanted to sell out and retire. And so the county bought it. It is unique wetlands, and Eagle from the state of Michigan is very concerned about trying to preserve that, but also educating about the public about the value of wetlands in the ecosystem. So we're looking at possibly seeing some ponds where kids or others could throw a little bobber in, catch a panfish, but also a trail and also some informative signs about wetlands.
You're
and
not
what
talking
role they
about
play
putting
in
a
the
building
ecosystem.
on it. You're talking about maintaining the land.
Anything we do there has to be natural. So a lot of our commissioners, Commissioner Krieger and Commissioner Bonasiak, also have, and I think Supervisor Glenn Rowley also, very supportive of putting a dog park located at that site. But it would have to be, basically not non-metal, and you could use gravel, but wood and things. So that would be on the front, and then we'd have some trails to some of the ponds, and then also an educational kind of experience for people that want to have the time to go out and use it. Currently, just sitting there idle, and might as well do something with it. And there's a lot of interest. And our dog park over in the fairgrounds is very popular.
Yeah.
People love to get their dogs off the leashes and let them run and play with other dogs, and have a good enough sized dog park where they can get good exercise and fresh air daily.
All right, we'll take one more break. Come back as we chat with Jim Barcia, Bay County Executive.
For 60 years, West.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show with Jim Barcia, the Bay County Executive. And how the state, with its new method of collecting road tax and all of that, the county doesn't get it, the road commission gets it. Does the county have any say in what the road commission does at all?
No. That's been a difficult issue in trying to explain to the public. When they hear Bay County Road Commission, they think it's Bay County that I oversee. We have 13 departments, the law enforcement center and the courts. in the community center and our county building and our central dispatch and Department on Aging and our Meals on Wheels and
clerk
all
and
that.
all that stuff.
But Bay County does not receive 1 nickel of federal or state gas tax. 67 cents is collected on each gallon of gas at the pump, and that is what is to fund infrastructure, primarily
and they
bridges and
removed the
roads.
sales tax from the gas. So it's
Yes, now that
they
was-
increased the tax on the gas,
Mm-hmm.
but they took off the sales tax. So the average, the stories we had was that the average increase would be about 1.4 cents total by the time all said and done.
Yes.
Well, that's reasonable. You know,
It
we live
is,
with that.
yeah. Considering as we move forward in the cost of construction and materials, it's more expensive. It's about $1 million a mile for pavement.
And I'll give you an opportunity, as I always do, to deny the fact that the county owns any bridges
Yes, we don't own a bridge or a road,
or a road. Yeah, that's right.
and we
Yes.
get no funding. There are no county employees at the Bay County Road Commission. Are a separate entity overseen by 3 pretty good individuals: Kevin Shark, and Bill Jordan, and also Bill Schumacher.
And it's an
they're
independent-
elected for 6-year terms.
And it's an independent taxing body, isn't it? It can tax.
No,
right?
it can't tax.
It
No.
can't put out a millage.
Nope, the cities and townships can, but no, the County Road Commission cannot tax, nor could we put on a ballot. That was one of the issues. People said, why didn't you pay for the bridge construction with a county millage? Well, I'm not aware of any county ever doing that. We cannot, and the townships, 14 townships and 3 cities, all would have to agree to surrender the revenue collected in their jurisdiction to the city, or
Good luck.
actually it couldn't be legally transferred to the city. We can't do that. We could not transfer operating revenue from the county to the city. That's illegal. ARP, we had a little more flexibility with ARP funding, and that's why we allocated $350,000 for a $350,000 match for the Corps of Engineers to dredge the Colquhoun River. But again, that money could not be spent directly. We had to send that through the Road Commission, and that was ARP money. Our operating capital in the county cannot be transferred to another jurisdiction legally. And we only, at that time in 2018, we had a $4 or $5 million fund balance. That would not have been very helpful. Again, what I wish the city would have done was access the local bridge fund at MDOT. They would have paid 100% of the estimated $6 to $8 million to repave both bridges.
And of course, the city was saying, well, we still have to operate it. We have to have operators there and everything else. But
Yeah, they
I just think
get
that,
out
that
of the bridge business,
that whole
I guess.
situation turned out to be such a quagmire.
Yeah, and a 75-year contract. People are looking at what can we do at this point. And, Bridge Partners would like $1,800,000,000 to be bought.
That's what I
out to
heard,
move
some
them.
ridiculous number to get out of it.
Yeah, it's. But we will continue to deal with it. We continue to try to explain what happened. But, in defense of some of the commissioners and the manager who went along with it, the chamber supported, the Bay Future supported it, Great Lakes Bay Regional Alliance supported it, and some of the local
And they
unions.
really wanted out from under those 2 bridges.
Yeah,
I mean, that was the bottom line.
yeah.
So, well, all right. Time says we're done. So, as always, I have more questions than time. So we'll do it again, Jim.
Thank you so much, Art, for having me on. It's always a pleasure and a privilege for me to join you on your newscast. And I want to, before I depart, I want to thank you so much, not only for what you do 5 days a week here on your programming, but also how active you are in the community. As I'm out and about, you're still, Art Lewis,
still out there.
still active and bringing about positive change. And thank you, Art, for the stellar guy you are.
All right, Jim, we'll talk to you again. Be back just to close out here in a minute.
How do you afford the things you need?
With us, that does it for the Art Lewis Show for this Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow with lots more. Focus coming up. We're going to learn about Bay County Freeze Fest.
Broadcasting from the